good idea.
Get out of the audience here. Get out of the audience here. It's precious. Why don't you take that off for a second?
Yeah.
I'm going to put them on something else. Oh, okay, great.
You want our oxygen or you got some?
Oh, we got them.
Okay. Listen, you're going to be fine, okay? It's going to be kind of a down day today, but you're going to be fine.
Back up there.
No problem.
That was good.
That's the...
Guests of the Oprah Winfrey Show stay at the All Suite Omni Chicago Hotel, located in the heart of Chicago's Magnificent Mile. Guests of the show fly our official carrier, American Airlines. American offers daily nonstop service from 7 U.S. gateways to the United Kingdom. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
Jump up. There, boy. Come on up.
How much of animal behavior is hereditary? Meet a big city squirrel that grew up to be just like Mom. The story tonight, live at 5.
Now, from the ATV News Center at every city and town in the Maritimes. This is the ATV Evening News, live at 5.
Good evening. It is Tuesday, November 15th. I'm Nancy Regan.
And I'm Paul Meunier. Welcome to Live at 5. Here's a look at some of the stories ATV reporters around the region are working on for tonight's show.
I'm Janet Stewart in Middleton, Nova Scotia, where a careless hunter has brought tragedy to this farm. I'll bring you the story later on Live at 5.
I'm Randy McDonald in Richmond County, Nova Scotia. The fight against illegal hunting. We'll take you to a spot check where conservation officers are doing their duty. The story coming up on Live at 5.
I'm Dan McIntosh in Port Hawkesbury with the story of a caring community reaching out to help a very special little girl. More later on Live at 5.
Cup out of your hand and cup baby's head. Okay, so there is an opening between baby's hand, or baby's face, and your hand.
Some department store workers in PEI are now ready for just about anything. Find out why they're getting first aid training later.
Also ahead tonight, do you know your rights? For instance, can your boss search your desk or purse? How about a store manager? What rights do you have under the Constitution? Heather Proudfoot explains tonight.
It would be a lot harder to learn without school supplies.
And then Yvonne Colbert with some Maritimers who've really made a difference. They live worlds apart, but maritime generosity has brought two groups of kids closer together.
All this and much more ahead on the Tuesday edition of Live at 5. Right now, here's Steve Murphy working on the ATV Evening News at 6. Steve.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Good afternoon, everyone. There was more explosive testimony at the Winder murder trial today, and it comes from someone who says he was there when Kelly Wilneff was murdered. Guy Robarts told the court today he drove in the car with Winder and Wilneff to a wooded area where she was later found shot dead. The shocking details of his testimony ahead on your Evening News at 6.
Long tubes running the full length of it.
Also tonight, take a look at this. The Mounties and Navy brass show off a huge drug find on board HMCS Cormorant today. 750 kilos of cocaine recovered by a Navy diving team near Sheet Harbor. This dope has been missing since a big bust in August of last year. We'll show you more at 6 o'clock tonight. And also on the Evening News, they thought they were headed for Miami. Instead, they ended up in St. John, where they're in jail and about to be deported. The 7 men mistakenly stowed away on board a St. John-bound cargo ship in the Dominican Republic. Now they're kicking up quite a fuss, and you'll find out why tonight in your ATV Evening News at 6 o'clock. Right now, let's have a quick look at our maritime weather, shall we? Meteorologist Steve Weigel in the ATV Weather Center. Steve?
Thanks very much, Steve. We have some great weather ahead with clear skies overnight and sunshine for tomorrow. On the downside, if you can call it that, temperatures are going to return to more seasonable values. Steve?
Okay, the Weigel weather in detail for you at 5:30, and at 6 o'clock, all the day's top stories, including more on the gambling controversy. Could it be that some or many or even all of the negative things you've heard about casinos just aren't true? Well, according to one of the companies hoping to run a casino in the Maritimes, you should not believe the doomsayers. Gambling, crime, and addiction don't necessarily go hand in hand. That's the casino side of the story, but is it true? More on that coming up tonight at the ATV Evening News at 6, right after Live at 5. Back to Paul and Nancy. Here they are.
Thank you, Steve.
And first at 5 tonight, misfires. Some people are scratching their heads. They're wondering about some of the people who are running around in our forests with hunting rifles.
You know, most maritime hunters take their sport very seriously and are extremely careful. But unfortunately, every year there are hunting accidents.
Janet Stewart was down to one part of the Maritimes today to check out some strange events that have happened in that region. She joins us now live from the newsroom. Janet, tell us about the tragedy that you discovered.
Well, unfortunately, Paul, over the weekend, a very treasured quarter horse was shot on a farm in Middleton. Now, both the man who owned this horse and the man whose farm it lived on are hunters, but they're shocked that anyone could be so careless and so cruel.
He's in here about 5, 6 feet, maybe 10 feet.
Lay on this side?
Yeah, laying on his side.
Jim McAdam owned the horse that was killed.
Probably a couple of our kids were all out here playing on the weekend, you know. Could have been one of them riding their pony.
Danny, the horse that was shot, used to guide trail rides. He had years of experience. If he could be replaced, it would cost between $1,500 and $2,500. But the loss here is far more than financial.
I have 2 children and a wife that are extremely upset about it. It's like a family pet. You know, it's hard all the way around, financially, emotionally.
I mean, you're dealing with a buck law only. I mean, obviously the guy didn't see any horns on my horse. And so, I mean, he's shooting at anything that's brown, that's in the woods. Could have been a human, could have been us up in there hauling winter's wood out, could have been anything.
Brian Connell owns the farm where the horse lived.
It was probably a full day, day and a half before we realized it wasn't in with the other horses. And by that time, I mean, we got coyotes, and the coyotes had been onto it. And it wasn't a good sight.
Connell says whoever shot the horse should have notified him right away. Do you think the horse suffered at all?
Definitely, the horse suffered. There was quite a bit of marks where he had struggled and kicked and tore the ground up and stuff.
The Bridgetown RCMP say they've been getting tips about who may have done this. And what would happen to the person who did do this?
Oh, obviously, it would be a loss of the dollar value of the horse, for sure, and other regulations that he may have violated during the actual event itself.
So more fines?
Well, fines, weapons charges, that sort of thing.
Of course, it is against regulations to be hunting so close to someone's home, but the RCMP say even if you're in the woods and you get lost, it is possible to lose your bearings and to get a little bit too close to the house. The way to prevent that is to plan where you're going to be hunting and to go to the people who own any places near that area and make sure you have permission before you go anywhere near their land.
Janet, it's important to mention as well that this is not the first incident of its kind down there, right?
Well, it's not actually, Nancy. A week ago on Saturday, there was 2 prize steer, 2 twin steer were shot in the back at another farm very close to Middleton in Springfield. Now, of course, the police, RCMP, don't think this was a hunting accident. They think this was something done deliberately. Perhaps somebody wanted the steer for the meat, shot them, and then were too frightened to go and actually remove the animals. Or perhaps it was something done just to hurt the owners. But they are investigating that as well.
All right, thanks very much, Janet.
You're welcome.
Obviously, there are a lot of responsible maritime hunters out there upset about hearing things like this. More on this now with Paul.
All right, Nancy, well, you know, conservation officers around the region have an around-the-clock job in their battle against illegal hunting. Well, today, ATV's Randy McDonald traveled on patrol with members of the Nova Scotia Department of Natural Resources, and Randy joins us now live from Sydney. Randy?
Paul, rural Richmond County has always been a popular hunting area. Personally, I have many pleasant memories of hunting with my dad in younger years in places like Lime Hill and Marble Mountain. Today, more than sportsmen, though, are on the move. Game wardens are also busy.
Good day, sir. Department of Natural Resources, we're doing a routine check. Are you hunting today, sir?
Yes, I am.
We're looking mostly for anything out of the ordinary. Checkpoints are handy when we do have them because we touch the base with all the hunters and they know that we're out there. This is my 6th year and I find that most of the hunters now have more knowledge on the laws and rules of the Wildlife Act.
Get your ticket out of the case and open the action, please.
Just about every hunter we see, we try to touch base and talk to them.
Did you get your deer?
Oh, yeah. I think it's a real good idea. And it's about time, it's going to have to start getting a little bit tighter. Yeah. People are going to have to do everything by the book now, and that's it.
I think it's great. Like, they should be out more often. I don't see them on the road that much myself because maybe I'm in the wrong spot, but I think it's great.
What type of rifle? 30-30, Steve?
30-30 Winchester.
Yeah, you have it along?
There's more to the war against illegal hunting than these checkpoints. Conservation officers spend many hours on active patrol, cruising country back roads both day and night.
Our enforcement staff patrol heavily, and that has a big effect on poachers. And they, if they're out there poaching, driving at night, eventually they're going to run into us and get caught. A jacker is the type of guy that'll go out and abuse the system, try to get as many deer as he can. It doesn't matter where the deer is, on the road, on someone's lawn, someone's pasture, he'll shoot it.
That's okay, you can leave it on the back seat as long as it's encased. All right. Okay, gentlemen. Thank you kindly and good luck.
And they know that we're out there, and makes them feel like we're doing our job. We do a lot of patrols at night, and the Joe public doesn't see us, so they really don't know we're out there. But when we do checks during the day, the public sees us, and they appreciate us for what we do.
The conservation officers were telling us today that one well-known poacher who fell victim to the old deer decoy trick last year had bragged to friends that he had bagged some 80 deer in 1 year when the deer were plentiful. But of course those days are long gone thanks to the work of conservation officers like those in St. Peter's whom we traveled with today. Paul?
Strikes one that this would be perhaps at times a dangerous job, Randy. I mean, people are running around with guns, right?
Yeah, that's right, Paul. Anytime you're dealing with a form of law enforcement where weapons are involved, it can get very tricky. But the good thing is that these conservation officers are themselves bearing sidearms now, and they're well trained to use them. Hopefully, though, they never have to. Paul?
Indeed, we echo that. All right, thank you, Randy.
Okay.
And now a story about some animal sense for those of you who have animals. Nance?
That's right, Paul. This is one of the peak seasons for animal shelters, and the colder weather also makes prospects grimmer for abandoned pets. Puppies and kittens that were cute last Christmas are often left to cruel deaths when they start having puppies and kittens of their own, or maybe people, their owners, decide that they're not so cute anymore when they realize how much responsibility they require. We've got that story just a little later for you. And still to come on Live at 5, a community comes together to help a young girl in need. And next, future maritime builders.
So who do we have here?
There are many companies hiring right now, and the future looks very good for engineers.
I would lay off a distance 1 centimeter from my base circle. Question.
It's time to draw the line on tough stains and grease. Introducing Comet Liquid Gel, bleach plus cleaner in a gel. It may just be the best way yet to clean your kitchen. When others can't cut it, Comet can.
Remember these guys? Certainly not the best-dressed men in town until they became ADR men. You see, they discovered, like so many others, clothes from ADR menswear reflect a man's good taste, an image of success, and sometimes a few unexpected pleasures. Don't just take my word for it, though. Come in and discover for yourself the expected and unexpected pleasures of becoming an ADR man at ADR Menswear, Fredericton.
Like an amphitheater?
Amphitheater for the grown-ups to sit. Good idea. How about you in the blue?
It was a big day at Fairvale Elementary School outside St. John. It was Design Day, a community group trying to build a massive playground next spring, and today children were asked for their input. Sounds like a great idea, considering they're the ones who are going to be using it. It's expected to be the largest and most innovative creative play area in New Brunswick. The community group has a fundraising goal of $100,000. So far, they've managed to raise about $15,000 toward the cost. And of course, there's nothing children love more, speaking of playing, than pets. Did you know that this is one of the peak seasons for animal shelters, though? The colder weather makes prospects grimmer for abandoned pets. As you can imagine, the puppies and kittens that were cute last Christmas are often left to cruel deaths when they start having puppies and kittens of their own, or they just aren't so cute anymore. Ron Shaw has the story for us tonight.
So who do we have here?
Okay, this is an original stray that came in. He had a really nice temperament. He was held for 5 days. An owner did not claim him. We didn't have a report on him. So after his 5 days, he was flea bathed, dewormed, ears were clean, nails were clipped, and put in this room for adoption. They're two females, mother and daughter. So again, they were nice to work with. They were clean when they came in. So hopefully now they will get adopted out of here.
Keffer Langwald is an animal control officer. Too often she sees what happens when animals are just left to fend for themselves.
A lot of them are raped down to skin and bones, really, and a lot of them are just laying there, and at that point they can't get up anymore.
The dogs here all have their stories too. Those three cowering in the back there won't come near me at all. They're afraid of me. They're afraid of all men because they were beaten and starved and then abandoned by their male owner. This good-natured fellow here, he's healthy, he looks good, but his owner just didn't want him anymore. The same with this one. And the story goes on and on.
People will bring their animals in, they'll give them up rather than pay for board and hope that maybe when they come back after their little holidays, the dog or cat, whatever, will still be here and they can come in and re-adopt it out, which saves them a considerable amount of money.
Sometimes they're too late. When the shelter runs out of room, the animals are put down and cremated. This is the same kind of machine that's used to cremate people.
This one here is, yes. Yeah. Yes, it is, because you can see the size of the chamber. The animals die with dignity, they might as well be disposed of with dignity, and this is what does happen.
In Moncton, Ron Shaw, ATV News.
Obviously a pretty upsetting topic and some upsetting pictures for people who truly love pets and take care of theirs. Well, on to a different subject now. Most students know that without a good education and specialized university degrees backing them up, their career prospects can be limited. ATV's Laverne Stewart was at UNB today, where engineering students from around the region are talking about their futures. Laverne.
That's right, Nancy. These future engineers have heard from professionals who already made it in this business. They're learning what they need to know to find a job in this highly competitive market.
What we're going to do is you're going to design the cam that's sitting down here at the bottom end.
Engineering students around the region must devote 5 years of their lives to study before they can even think about their chances of finding a career in their field. Engineering students from across the region are here listening to and learning from engineers who've already established their careers. Many say this region has a bright future for them.
We're going to have the opportunity to meet speakers who have been out and succeeded from where we are now. So I think they're going to fill us in on what we should know when we start our job hunt, and then when we start our careers, what's expected of us when we're out there.
So that would be helpful when you do your undergrad senior thesis, right? In 2 years now? Yeah.
Generally, engineering students from UNB and tons in Nova Scotia have been able to find jobs in the past, providing they were willing to move away from this region. If they want to stay in the maritime provinces, with things like the fixed link coming online and people being hired, is that making things a little easier for students to stay in the region if they want to stay in the Maritimes?
That is one of the areas, yes, and there's a number of other new developments connected with the information highway.
So the information highway has become a vital tool, one you will be using a lot during your career.
For mechanical and electrical engineering students, this is welcomed news.
The new technology coming out, the prospects are very good. There are many companies hiring right now, and the future looks very good for engineers.
You know, Nancy, many engineering students and other university students, for that matter, who felt they couldn't find employment in the Maritimes had to go elsewhere, like Toronto and the western provinces. But now, many are finding it possible to stay right here where they want to be, at home in this region.
So, Laverne, the students you talked to today were quite optimistic about the future.
Very upbeat, and they say with things like the information highway and the fixed link project, they should be able to stay right here.
Of course, that's because of their education. Thanks, Laverne.
Okay.
Paul. A little trouble with Paul Menyer's mic, but I'm going to tell you exactly what he was trying to tell you. Speaking of posters now, we want to show you a beautiful one designed for the Canadian Figure Skating Championships, which Halifax will host in January. And you can have one of these posters. simply by dropping by any branch of the Royal Bank and making a $10 donation to Christmas Daddies. But there's more. Your donation will also get you entered into a draw for a trip for 4 to the Royal Bank Canadians in Ottawa in 1996. That is a prize worth about $5,000. Just drop by any branch of the Royal Bank in the Maritimes and make a donation. And coming up next, would you know how to react in a medical emergency in a public place? In a moment, we'll meet store clerks who are getting special training for just that sort of situation.
I don't think I'd want to stand there realizing I couldn't do anything.
Talk about customer service. The story when Live at 5 returns. Stick around.
Press to about a second and a half, 2 seconds long.
Mind if we show the Oldsmobile Achiever? We did. And agile and precise and responsive and... Absolutely. Everything from its 2.3-liter overhead cam engine, tenacious anti-lock braking system, driver's side airbag, and feature-laden interior to its very affordable price is thought out in meticulous detail. Hey, it's your money.
Need new hearing aid batteries? Lawton's Drugs has all kinds of batteries, all at great prices.
Young man, have you seen this? Why, it's enough to put even me in the Christmas spirit.
What is it, sir? A newspaper?
Look at all these great gifts. And with Canadian Tire money and guaranteed low prices, even I approve.
Is it a brochure?
No.
A magazine?
No. Here, have a look.
It's a flyer.
Look for the Canadian Tire Weekly Christmas Flyer. And remember, Canadian Tire money lets you give like Santa, save like Scrooge.
Feel the heat tonight as your St. John Flames take on the Fredericton Canadians at Harbour Station. Tickets are still available at the Harbour Station box office. Game time, 7:30. Don't miss the Flames tonight.
Starting at only $999. It's the Betty Rubin Fur Event now at Betty Rubin. Save thousands of dollars on mink, fox, raccoon, and beaver. Buy your fur for Christmas on sale. Use the Christmas layaway plan. No interest till January. Betty Rubin furs up to $14,000. Now as low as $999. Save thousands of dollars. A gift of fur now on sale, starting at only $999. Only from Betty Rubin Champlain Place, and it's in Moncton.
And welcome back to Live at 5. Spectacular paint job, I think you'd agree, Nancy.
Oh,
This
yes.
Volkswagen Beetle painted up to look like a turtle of some sort. Actually used in a promotion for a book that's being sold in a bookstore down in North Carolina there.
Hey, great old car.
Nice job. Anyway.
Oh, you seem to have found
You saw me,
something
yeah,
there.
you saw me moving there, and my lips were moving, but nothing was coming out.
That was a neat trick.
That was my bad mic cord. So there you go, bad mic cord.
It's fixed.
Just throw that
He
in the way.
sounds great now. Don't
There.
you agree? Well, time for some maritime milestones now. We're getting into the cooler months, and it hasn't dulled the romantic sparks of these folks. Time for our milestones for November 15th. Congratulations first off to Ernie and Gertrude Whitney.